Improving our financial situations can be seen hopeless, especially when in huge debts or living in paycheck to paycheck. We can view our financial situation as having no way around it. And although we do want to improve our finances, doing something about it can be met with friction. Downward pressure can be a market crash, low unemployment, high interest rates, or we may not commit to changes because of what is expected of us, like a certain lifestyle that we have to have a house, a car, or we have to go to fancy restaurants to maintain our image or reputation. Pressure to keep up with appearances. So we continue to swipe our credit cards even if bills and debts loom like ghosts, suffocating us. But not improving our finances, on the other hand, this inaction compounds or magnifies our problems, much like paying credit from another credit card. We can't outrun our problems, our debts, or financial troubles, and if we try, they become a vicious cycle that feed monsters in our sleep. But how can we improve our finances when we do not know ourselves to be smart or intelligent at all? We may not even be good in numbers. Lastly, how how can we do that when we have so little money to spare? But well, we have skills, contacts, or networks, or followers, right? Maybe we have a bicycle collecting dust somewhere, or an ancient something in our closet, right? Improving our finances has little to do with the economic conditions or external expectations or intelligence. It has more to do with our determination. It has more to do with working on living a life not immune to economic or domestic shock or expectations, but a life where these have effect on you as little as possible. You don't even have to be smart or intelligent. Dealing with finances is quite logical. It's plus or minus. It's practical. There's no myth, complicated calculus, or theory about it. It is essentially what you see is what you get. What improving finances entail more is that you take accountability for your conditions or situations and not blame the government, your spouse, your parents, or your leader. The commitment to own up to your financial conditions and trajectory, that's where financial improvement and wealth begin. So, have you? So remember, improving your finances has more to do with working on living a life not necessarily immune to economic or domestic shock and expectations, but a life where these have little effect on you as possible. Also, you don't have to be smart or intelligent. Dealing with finances is quite logical, and improving takes the commitment to own up to your financial conditions and trajectory. So drop the blame game. Three things you have to keep in mind in improving your finances: how to not lose your money, how to increase your income, and how to grow your money. In order to improve your finances, how to not lose money is a challenge, no matter how small or big the amount involved. I'll start with the why and then the how. In order to improve your finances, imagine first if you win 1 million. How wonderful would that be? But how could you not lose it all in a year or two? If you win 1 million, you would probably celebrate and spend 100,000 in the first month partying, traveling, or giving away some of it. Then you get serious on the third month and buy a house or car around 400,000. By the end of the year, you have 400,000 left and you wonder where did it all go? But there are higher bills, insurances, or fees, and your family have adapted to a higher lifestyle. But you shrug it off. After all, you are a millionaire. How can you lose such a wild amount of money? It's impossible, you think. Near the year's end, you only have 150,000 left. You sweat because bills are mounting. Your family has depended on you financially. The house and its upkeep becomes a quiet storm. You want to blame your friends and family, but deep down you have to answer to the disintegration that glares at you all day. You groan in a corner, you become mad at everybody. How could an unimaginable amount ever evaporate? You ask yourself. I tell this story because it does not matter how much you have, 10,000 or 1 million. The amount is just an illusion. Every thriving millionaire face the same kinds of choices or temptations as you. The difference is that they deal with millions while you deal with tens or hundreds. Another difference is that they have not only learned but mastered through years of experiences and losses how to spend, save, and invest. So, no matter where you are financially, broke, in huge debts, with little savings, in order to improve your finances, imagine that you have 1 million. What would you do so you do not lose it all in a year or sooner? So, the way to keep your million is exactly the way you keep your 100. If you know how to keep your 100, you'll know how to keep your million. Because money does not stay by itself. It is like a cheating lover, impatient to go around and chat with the next flower. So, it is more likely that we lose our savings, our funds, than we keep it. Because we have needs, wants, desires. Plus, some of us want to look decent or fancy or successful too. For some of us, our image is important too, right? We don't want anybody to treat us like trash by how we look, right? So it is more likely that we lose our funds, our savings, than we keep it. So, how do you not drain your money? Look at your situation and work from there. You cannot copy someone else's strategy and expect to see results. Deal with your own situation. So, here are some things that you can readily do. You can unplug appliance you don't use, cancel subscriptions you don't use, keep receipts so you can show proof of payment in case of messy accounting. Check your bills if everything is in place, knowing that there are late fees and deadlines. These are actions that don't take 5 seconds to do. Another is relational, addressing your concerns about seeing your girlfriend where transportation expenses is not something you can keep up with, addressing the constant borrowing of a friend who might not even be paying, let alone apologize for late payments. You can also spend your loose change intentionally. This is not a waste of space. Your loose change, you can even deposit it at your savings account. Loose change are a fraction of a whole. In business, they matter a lot. You can also have your pipe that is in danger of explosion, have it fixed, because leaving it alone might incur more damages. You can also start paying your credit cards. Credit cards have an annual interest rate of 22 to 35% per year, depending on your bank or country. Because no matter how much you have saved or profited for the year, it might be difficult to beat the interest payments of credit cards. So pay your balance with all your savings. Just leave 1 month of your monthly expenses as a temporary emergency fund. By doing simple tweaks about your finances, you are owning up to your financial condition and trajectory. You also become immune to economic or domestic shock as little as possible, because when these are addressed during a pandemic or unemployment, you have little to worry about. And the gossiping or disapproving eyes around you may start to not matter anymore to you. Your eyes are focused far than in the people around you. These simple tweaks also does not take intelligence, does it? By doing simple tweaks about your finances, you are owning up to your financial condition and trajectory. You also become immune to economic or domestic shocks as little as possible, because when these are addressed during pandemic or unemployment, you have less to worry about because payments are updated, monitored, and paid. These simple tweaks also do not take intelligence, does it? And although you are more likely to lose money than to keep it, you get to keep more by covering up the leaks than losing. These tweaks are not about the amount you are saving. Again, the amount is an illusion. It is about the consciousness of how money is being used, squandered, or spent. It is about sharpening your radar to red flags of unnecessary drain. These tweaks are ways of catching wind of financial omens, small or big amounts, before they even reach your door. It is habituating your consciousness of drain, because you are not excusing yourself anymore or not playing ignorant anymore about where your money has gone. This habituation forms a mindset, a sense of bullheadedness about your financial direction. It is out of inspired action, like a warrior brimming with courage. Even his gaze can tear a tree, and muscles are hungry for action, waiting to roar even amidst uncertainty. Mindsets clear the path to a financial direction of improved finances. Energetically, you are walking on a path to wealth, when otherwise you are aimless, going round and round, gaining but losing more, even if you say you want to get rich. And minding the drain is not about being frugal or starving yourself. It is about spending for things that you actually use or need or like so much or are good for you. Not making efforts to not lose money is like saving water in a basin with a leak. So take care of the leak. You may have had windfalls already in the past. Miracles have not been deprived of you, but your leaks may have drained them away. Remember, it is more likely to lose your money than to keep it. Oh, by the way, save up for an emergency fund. Normally, it is 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses for those who are employed, and 6 months or more for those who are self employed. It would be wise to put it somewhere where it is accessible and also earns more than the interest rate of savings account, if possible. An emergency fund prevents selling your assets at a bargain during an emergency. Just park an amount every time and live your life. Okay, again, 3 things: how to not lose your money, how to increase your income, and how to grow your money. Let's go to the next one: how to increase your income. Increasing your income is more to relieve dependence from a source of income, such as a job, which can be fragile in some economic conditions. Global or national or domestic conditions, they vary. And so other sources of income may be beneficial when a source is terminated, like when you are fired. Increasing income is not out of fear, but out of a response from the reality that times change. Times are not static. One day a war pops up, a market crash, unemployment rise after a long quiet years of normalcy. Increasing your income is based from the acceptance that normal conditions do not stay that way forever. Increasing your income can be anything. Selling your junk at online stores. Remember, your trash is someone else's treasure. You would be surprised to find out how someone desperately needs or wants your junk. Another thing you can do is to rent out your spare bedroom, your bike, your fancy bag, your garage, your backyard. Thing you can do, you can connect buyers and sellers as an agent through your contacts or connections. You can also do side hustles. You can become a reliever or a weekend nanny of rich kids requiring martial arts training that you are actually good at. Tutoring, consultancy, coaching, hosting parties, house cleaning. Sometimes people are hired for their time, like to be someone's company. There are also people who will pay for your looks, your style, your knowledge about video games or pet parenting. By increasing your income, you are owning up to your financial condition and trajectory. You don't depend on others to save you, be kind to you, to help you. You rely on yourself. You also become immune to economic or domestic shocks as little as possible, because if you lose your job, something else will catch you. By increasing your income and owning up to your financial trajectory, you use something you have instead of someone else's. You charge a fee for your skills, your time, your energy, your knowledge, connections. You realize these are valuable and are paid for. And because they are, you protect them, you nourish them. Sometimes you walk away from environments that will dull them and waste them because they are too precious to squander. These simple tweaks also do not require intelligence. All you need is to talk to friends, post your rental somewhere. It does not require some law of inertia or Heidelberg principle. You basically need to just be reasonable or logical or transactional. And although you are more likely to lose money than to keep it, by increasing your income, you have something to offset or neutralize the loss. Increasing your income is not also just about the money that you earn. Again, the amount is an illusion. It is about putting legs to your desire to improve your finances. It is walking the talk. It is like training your eyes, your instincts for opportunities. Training yourself to identify opportunities to earn attracts opportunities. It is like selecting videos from your social media feeds. The more you look for the same theme or topic, the more you will be given videos not only of the same theme, but more specific or better videos of the same theme. Or, the more you search or ask around, the deeper you go, or the more people will help to connect you to sources. This training keeps you in the path of financial improvement or wealth instead of, again, going around in circles, gaining and then losing more. It keeps you away from the familiar comfort of inaction with less responsibility, less preparation. It keeps you from wearing diapers and from a nanny to feed you. It keeps you away from the bed and leads you to waking up ready and showing up to the challenges of the day. So, again, three things: how to not lose money, how to increase your income, and the next one is how to grow your money. Growing your money addresses a different financial headwind. Yearly, inflation rises. The four items we are able to buy with 100 dwindles to two items in a few years. The purchasing power of our money now dwindles in time. What you break your back for now decreases in purchasing power in time. Like a flower that blooms, but not long after it loses its scent and withdraws its radiance. This is why growing money is keeping up with the times, and perhaps in order to honor our toil. Growing your money is investing in assets that grow value in time. Investing or acquiring assets is like your financial partner, your ally, your runner, your fixer to do work for you. For example, you put 100 or 1,000 in stocks. With due diligence, it works for you 24/7 while you sleep. Assets are like your elves that grow money while you sit by the beach or do your side hustle. Your clone, in a way. You buy 3 bottles of wine for 1,000 because you know a lot about wines, and after 4 years, you sell them for 2,000. Assets beat inflation. If the inflation rate of your country is 5%, but your assets grow by 7 to 10%, you have money that is growing past current conditions. You are getting richer, essentially. Here are some examples of assets. So there's stocks, forex, commodities or precious metals, also apartment buildings, farms, also paintings, jewelry, watches, collectibles such as wine, vintage baseball cards, vintage toys, vintage cars, vintage lunch boxes, or historical artifacts. And also, an example of an asset is education. You put yourself to school, you take advanced courses for your career because this multiplies your value. Assets, however, need careful study. Not only study, but a tough stomach for volatility sometimes. To address this, you may need a mentor or you have to practice till you get it right. You have to accept the loss or the wrong decisions because they are not only possible but inevitable. But you can treat these as your tuition fee in schooling. By growing your money, you are owning up to your financial condition and trajectory. If you want your money to dwindle in time, that's up to you. But by accepting losses and volatility in investments, you are choosing to grow up and not rely on the heavens to mollycoddle you or shield you or give you back what you have lost. You also become immune to economic or domestic shocks as little as possible because with your skills and tough skin, you can use these for a lifetime. Your financial conditions have no way to go but to get better, even with huge losses and a lot of mistakes. Because your mistakes become your asset, because you know now what to avoid doing. Mistakes make you a better investor. And you don't even have to have a postgraduate diploma for these. You can open a trading account or trace where people are selling or buying. You can go around, ask around for something or on sale, and you decide. And although you are more likely to lose money or than to keep it, by investing you have better chances of maintaining the value of your money or increasing your purchasing power than saving it in a regular savings account. which earns less than 1%. Big or small profits or losses are also illusions. Losses, huge ones, loss of money may not only be possible but inevitable. But if you cannot treat small profits with reverence and small losses as lessons, you might just not grow your capital at all. Now, these three mindsets, how to not lose money, how to increase your income, and how to grow your money, become your financial system, your foundation of wealth, where there are no unnecessary leaks, there is cash flow and elves to make money for you independent of your time and energy. So remember, improving your finances has more to do with working on living a life where economic or relationship influences have effect on you as little as possible. It makes you steady in times of storms, and it makes you not react out of fear or unreadiness. Also, you don't have to be smart or intelligent. Dealing with finances is quite logical and reasonable. Also, improving your finances takes commitment to own up to your financial condition and trajectory. And in owning up to your conditions and trajectory, you don't do shortcuts or just hope for luck. You build your system, and that is controlling leaks, looking out for opportunities to earn, and growing your money. You let time, habits, errors to hone you, mold you. You don't make wealth accidental. You make it rooted in good soil that can stand in storms. You make wealth intentional, like an arrow meets its target through constant training. You start seeing a million or 100 in the same way. If you know what to do with 100, you will know what to do with a million. The amount is just an illusion. And in owning up to your financial conditions, remember that it is more likely that you lose your funds savings than to keep it. But not making efforts to not lose money is like saving water in a basin with a leak. Increasing your income is not out of fear, but out of a response from the reality that times change or are not static. What has been calm and quiet for 10 years does not stay that way forever. Grow your money, because what we break our backs for now decreases in purchasing power in time because of inflation. Now, results take time or might not even be visible or tangible. Improving your finances consciously is like dismantling old ways and habits and changing them into new patterns or routines. But money is interdependent, or is in a web, in an interplay of reactions with systems or people. As long as you own up to your conditions or situations and work fundamentally about them, your efforts shall collectively increase your wealth. Because people, institutions, or countries, even in a web of cause and effect, of pan-outs and reckonings, money ends up with the one that is sound in financial system or structure, because anything else is in danger of collapse or is in shaky ground. Also, money, in terms of people, institutions, tend to choose the ones with not only fundamentals or structures, but those with integrity, as when one owns up to financial conditions, and clarity, as when one accepts the changing or dynamic or not static tides of economic conditions. Money goes to the ones that are trustworthy, economically stable, and growth oriented. In the grand scheme of life, our financial security, our financial goals, getting rich may just be a stage for our awareness. It can be a mirror to our decisions to make us see what we trade over financial health. It makes us see that we'd rather maintain our image, our need for approval, our reputation, than control the vicious cycle of debt or helplessness. Our financial goals may be a stage to challenge our hesitation to decide more authentically about our financial matters, to drop our masks, our pretenses, to kiss our inhibitions, our guilt, our shame, our insecurities goodbye. Our need for validation, approval, acceptance, which may have pulled us down financially in the past. Or getting rich, achieving our goals may also be a facade of human existence. These financial goals create a situation for us to discover, apply, hone our potentials or abilities. Behind the curtain is a treasure trove just waiting to be opened. And without these financial goals, our potentials or treasures would shrink or rot, or our existence would not have stories to tell.